is Greg. I am with Nadine, who is right here in the hat, co-curating this series. This series will be going on forever and ever until it ends. And we are both proud participants in the SPLAB organization. If you don't know SPLAB, check out SPLAB.org. I have a little bit to read about it before we get the reading started. Founded in '97, SPLAB is an intergenerational spoken word performance, resource, and outreach center dedicated to poetry, storytelling, conversation, debate, consciousness, and building community through shared experience of the spoken and written word. We create an environment by encouraging writers to develop or deepen their individual writing practices and providing a supportive community so they may deepen their own personal gestures. SPLAB's been around in a variety of states and instances. Here in Western Washington, when it was in Auburn, it hosted a lot of readers, including Ann Waltman, Andrew Schelling, Michael McClure, Wanda Coleman, Jerome Rothenberg, Eileen Miles, Ethelbert Miller, Victor Hernandez-Cruz, Joanne Kiger, and others. I was privy to seeing Nathaniel Mackey, C.A. Conrad, Brenda Hillman, and a variety of other writers hang out in Columbia City where we took our time. Anyway, one of the big things that SPLAB has contributed to in the region recently is the Cascadia Poetry Festival, which will be happening in Nanaimo, British Columbia this May 3rd is when it ends, and April 30th is when it begins. If you're interested, check out the Cascadia Poetry website. There will be workshops, readings, a small press fair related to Cascadian writers, themes related to bioregionalism, eco-poetics, and everything Cascadia. Hopefully Paul Nelson, who is in the room, will talk about it later. Paul, will you talk about it later? Okay, cool. Okay, so tonight we have 3 readers. We have Patricia Murphy. We also have Alex Bleeger. We also have Chelsea Tadeyesky. So hopefully you will all enjoy them, and hopefully you will all continue to treat the people here at Vermilion, including yourself, quite kindly. Don't give a shit about me, though. I am here. You don't have to respond to that. You can do that if you want to. So, rambling over, let's introduce our first reader. Patricia Murphy, a native of northern Kentucky, who just arrived here off the bus a couple hours ago, lives in the historic Brighton neighborhood of Cincinnati. She graduated from the Art Academy of Cincinnati in 2010 with a bachelor's in fine arts. She is a longtime collaborator and curator of alternative art and poetry venues in Cincinnati, including U-Turn Art Space, Important People Reading Series, and Hobo House Gallery. She's got some of her art on her Facebook page, and being her Facebook friend and her now, hopefully, please agree with me, real friend, this is a true statement. Everybody welcome up Patricia Murphy. First, SPLAB presents poetry.
Also, I'm kind of weird with the microphone things. Is this working?
Yes.
How's that? Okay. Back on the little table, the corner right there, there's some chapbooks. Chelsea has most of the chapbooks, or all of the chapbooks are Chelsea's, except for the one. This one. This one's mine and it's free, so take one. Talk to Chelsea about the others. Those are almost free. They're almost free. They're up for trade or negotiation. Or donation. All of the above. Thank you, Greg. this together. Thank you, Alex, for reading with Chelsea and I. Thank you, Chelsea, for being my traveling partner / introducing me to the world of poetry reading tours. This is my first, and I'm very honored to be the first readers of this series. Oh, wow. Okay. Thanks, guys. Emergency forms of communication. Figure out Morse code blinking. Revitalizing social situations. A mercurial tyrant, always, she said, betraying the fleeting sanctimonious balance, she said. Remember when he kicked the air and the bulb broke, it smacked the ceiling? Remember his hospitality. Remember we can meet halfway somewhere and revel in flaws like beauty spots with semi-graceful bad feelings. A carnival cruise. A king shaves himself. In doing so, he gives up his status like a carnival cruise. Everyone raps like Halle Berry's while we sit here feeling decisively indecisive like a carnival cruise. If you just want to pass out next to me, that's a carnival cruise. Language patterns. I'm planning on seeing you, my sunspot, ASAP. But I don't want to look like I don't supposed to be around, baby. From there, we saw a migrating Jurassic consumption. We talked about jumping into it. But no one looks forward to getting cattle prodded. You got me? You touch it, you smoke it. And with the first breath, a restoring valve is depressed, giving us horizontal time. I'm bleached like beach fossils, smoked like left at the back of the pack. Sees a bunch of ignorant folks out there, don't realize every day is good as long as you see it. Instead, everyone's fighting for vertical space, like umbrellas, like look dough. It's not like talking wildlife. Whales and eagles have the same mates for life. I'm not hip to that. Because my harvest against love exalts all climates, and I'm only cheesing because you're trying to keep it lightweight. Some take them gracefully, but we all take our ghosts with us, gnawing on them, like borderline chewing on the thought of what's good and what's not. And in reality, it's all good and good's not. That's why when they say I like black guys, I say I like them how I like them. No type like bad bitches screaming cross street. Just say it loud. It's all about the mouth chemistry. And when she pops, we'll have more stars. Like the only weekend I got away, New Orleans in heat. Joyce and I in heat, synced up like together. Is it 3 year? The heart is the mold, the home is where it is. It might be missing, but my home is, and I've been going since. And baby, oh, don't call me a slut for it. Because when gangsters drink milk like Popeye eats spinach, who gives a fuck about the functionality of my habits? It's our authentic context that matters. Listen, they tell you you might be going through a crisis of youth. Nah, fuck them. It's to obstacle your wishes that they are this rigid has been implicit, and it's the concept of drift that matters most. Because the wear of settling always ends in deep fissures, and we felt it, and our head clouds rattled, and we said it wasn't for us, and we said we like it flavory. foam, like an early happy hour, like an ocean, but if it tasted good. Voracious. A stranger on the street asks how it's going. That is controversial. Don't say forever. Say static electricity. I cannot hold back from overrolling. I never realize the time until the cobra runs for her life. I want to be killed underground for it. Let me get predatory. Let me listen to her curves, put her nipples between my lips like a whiplash across my neck. I hear bones. I'm going to eat oysters in Disneyland, like life shipbuilding. I'm going to buy sailing ships for our daughter who will look like a seal. She will flap her flippers when I hold her in the air. I will meet many people, but as usual, there will be an emptiness where you should be. I will whale fin a letter to you. I will flat tire some days. I will wait for my dog to wake me up late. I will cut my hair like math. We will sleep together. I can see it seriously in your eyes. We will watch out for teeth behind glass, and I will tell you why we need spirit help, why we have specific observed problems. Like what happens when we can't get around like we used to, fucking die. Check in our pulse. Feel it in your water. Rigid eyes, feel fine. You said you'd hit it. Tools. You said my nails. Watch out. As I pull out of my chest, a semi-joyful purple sweet disposition as protection against lightning and other crumbs from the sky. Pucker up, baby fry, passing, glowing shapes. You get wet when you get curly, baby Haney. Wow. He was telling you we're gonna eat you, but you ain't speaking the language. Let me calm down. Wait outside for a minute. Remember, I got this. Arm wrestle this guy. Something about the past in the package. The door at the rest stop made jazz sounds, and the bathrooms smelled like coconut and vanilla. The soap smelled like ashtrays, salt and pepper shakers, and French fries. In my dream, I ate butterflies, but the dead ones were already sick. Caution. There is a sharp turn here. Bare belly to the playground on the mulch. Chin in my hands, you on the jungle gym. Like a lion, I'll be your pride today. The decorations are not edible. Only eat the bunny, cash money. Only crush on the cute Asian chick who bartends and the black guy with a mohawk named Wise. Supermoon means too bright to see meteor showers cray. Moonbeams making me feel lonely, true. On top of all these huge ass mirrors, I don't feel company. I hate hotels. And getting drunk talking about it. Worried about the boys. We are more cautious about what our mouth and our hands touch. We blow on everything first, wipe it with our shirts. Our phones are blowing up the whole nine. See, I'm giving you breath. Where are your people at? On the come up, long division, sprawled out like that. A bad trip. I still don't know if the helicopter sound is just the amplified white noise of the world. The dome effect. It might just be the rim of my glasses. Nicki Minaj. Trying to pass that corn, I shitted on him. Kilauea, the only place in South America where we got wasted. An ethically perfect state doesn't exist anyway, so don't think drinking your pisco with that decorative flourish is going to build you a foundation of morality. The converting power of booze averaged out my inappropriate thoughts crushing on random brother and sister duos. That was that aguardiente, that sugarcane hooch, came out of a rusty can. That rusty got me lusty, LOL, like thirsty, like the weather puffing out of that crater lake. We for real got drunk with intention. Shoulder seasons. The cheaper, the rowdier. We could do something with new destinations. Voodoo. I don't know anything about crystals, or beach glass, or thievery. We try non-judgmental love like dogs. Switch to brevity. Enjoy the glow. Open up the face to punches. Feel sighs. Indulge in wild habits. Watch a rhino gut a horse. It's just nature spinning into rocks. Biological clocks developed drugs to put us in the present. And it's dry as hell in heaven anyway. This is my last poem. The evidence presented here favors the conclusion that the spreading rate of love among friends is relative to the commitment of the individuals in relating to what you and I appreciate. And this is written for my friend Joyce. When I think about missing you, I'm missing you, and when I miss you, I worry about whether it's a long time coming, and then I'm there with you. And it's magnetic. Adrift fracture zones offsetting the water, quenching water, towing tugboats, and curling, smoking because we're on vacation. We are drinking Budweiser in the park in Greenpoint because we're on vacation, because there are bench monsters, and because Noah showed us where she lost her virginity at the park, and we all fell in love with her. Even you fell in love with her, considering when we feel the crushing happening, we're just like, damn, and you were in love with all of my boyfriends too. And when we want skin, we eat it. And when we want pentagon cuddling, it's us all holding hands on the streets of the Bowery, weaving sidewalk traffic and not apologizing, and hiccuping with monster laughter, playing interpreter games with our German friends. It's invented, all of knocking knees, knocking knobby shoulders, rubbing sweaty backs against sweaty backs, and Danny making me mimic spit bubble drooling, making me laugh with no resolutions, like sleeping with all of you, if only for all of that situating for circles in the empty third room where we came up with band names like Washing Bear, Human Hair, and Bed Lines. Fast food signs like Mushroom Tops countered to the glamour of what you do when you fall into the tub with your jeans undone and you lose your glasses and you find your glasses and they're broken. I, LOL, got Rick sick in a cooking pot and lay in bed in with Noah and Molly, and you and I are too drunken to fuck. We picked puke times, only while staring shoe rims into nothing did you make John walk a hole in his socks, and falling while running to keep up with that train. Like when we got kicked out of the queer dance party in Philly, when the crumbs laughed inside our teeth for too long. And we finally found our clothes we'd stripped, but luckily we didn't have any time for transcendental meditation on this trip. But I did get bit by drug bugs, and John asked me if I could see those limbs disappearing against a white background, and I asked about the sky, and his head went through a crab apple tree, and now it's gonna smell like somebody else's sex. And now we're gonna feel like I did shit paint, which reminds us of doing it. Because we're at that age where it's kind of still acceptable for us to walk along this creek. But in just a few years, people will look at us and think we're creeps.
So I'm kind of embarrassed because, I was a really responsible adult, and before I left, I printed out all my poems on paper. And we only had one other reading this tour so far, and I left the paper in San Francisco. So I'm going to be reading off my phone. Sorry. And in the document, they're all in order. I'm not going to try to take time and order them, so I'm just going to read them as they are, and I hope that's okay. But I want to say thank you for everybody involved in putting this together, everybody that's here right now. Thank you. Sincerely, thank you. This first one's called, If You Bend It Backwards, Nothing Really Happens. My teenage diary proves I was almost positive once I saw myself in a woman who leapt, crushed a luxury limousine, and applied eyeliner to the corners of my eyes to make them seem wider. I've told myself to turn off faucets and electronics before walking away from them. We all must lay horribly awake thinking whatever left us here alone made a mistake. Is this amplifying for real? Yeah. Okay. My ears are good. Okay, this one's called Suds, like the bubbles. No one ever tells me their secrets. I have to draw a heart myself and lick it. If disappointment is a movie, it is playing over all of our faces, and dreams are bodies stuck in a tub of holy water. I'm doing the dishes, thinking too much, a projection of my American intellect. I'm barely able to breathe. It is suddenly appropriate how everything feels like chewing raw eggs. It's like why try? Why not stitch the lips together and call it healing? My mind will never end you. Alright. This next one is called bleat, but what I really want it to be called is the actual sound of sheep bleating. Like, so if we could all together, listen to this one. All I'm ever trying to do is turn you into a phantom that rules me. Dominate me fully by becoming only your eyes. Or let me wear you over my back like old fur, like a hat made only for me. The most romantic thing a person can say to another is, let me help you vomit. No one's ever said this to me, but I wake up on ice with parts of you missing. I'm pretty superficial because it feels religious. Let's light a candle to it never being my fault. Skip that one. Skip that one. The art of high mileage. I'm not looting the graves of my past forgivenesses. I'm pulling out a rose bush to exacerbate my misery. Coaxing this bowl out of my mouth with a red flag of a sentencing, something about perceiving our pain in the pain of others and how we're still capable of loving them. Received your text, read, life is a broken doorbell, replied with irrefutable pick, 8, chat, later bathed for the 8,000th time. Oh man, don't tell me the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and so on. That's actually a certain kind of enthusiasm. Going for a satellite orbiting the moon, an illusion, I believe. This one's for my dad. He's in the Midwest and pretty sure in that time zone watching Fox News. This is for him. Raffle. I walked uphill thinking about your lungs and what's in them. Some say cancer forces the smallest parts of yourself to run away from each other. To spot it, they isolate suspect tissue and look for what shines. You should always believe in what you read, not in yourself. Humiliation, like pain, has a distinct flavor. I kept walking thinking about people who die with floors or ceilings in their eyes. I have a few on paper that survived getting drenched. I wonder about this now. You're late to the party. How sad you didn't come from branches, that your dress isn't snagged by branches. Poems will sometimes make us find water, and I don't know a thing about crawling on my knees, just liquor and ritual. Just the way your face means bruised stone in the warmest light. So often we greet change with a gooey dignity. In the sky, the fog lacks the right poison. I certainly will never die. My throat is filling up with sequins in the middle of this horrible field. have a few more. Thank you for listening. How to stop laughing. I like how I invite myself to the table to eat what's left. If I were to meet someone who ran from me in horror, I would fill their space with calculated desolation. Look at me trying to write something sloshing like a lava lamp. My bones are stubborn geese that won't give up their formation. I'm sorry. I would do anything for a different look from you. While I read How to Survive a Long Fall, I kept thinking about my brain from a fleeting height. Have I been up here really long? I can't tell. No?
You're fine.
Okay. Sorry. I just have two more. And then sorry, these are out of order, so I'm kind of screwed up right now. It's called Weird Ways of Hiding. I want to say something about how you make me feel, how my blood dries, then pools at the same time. Then I want a cigarette because I can't get back at you in any real way. When I wake up and you're not the first thing I have to do, I use my hands to make the shape of your head on the pillow. The last time we had sex, I was really close to throwing up. Your percussed hips made me pity you. The first time someone asked me for a blowjob, there was this pressure that wouldn't go away until I finally submitted. He sat next to me in math class. Always had nice things to say about my shoes. He felt sorry. The phrase, misshapen milk, repeats. I already miss the way sleep softens you, how it sours your breath, building a miniature church out of your eyelids. Okay, this last one, you know how when some people just ask how you're doing, and you say okay or good or bad? Well, I just decided to write a poem as a response because I thought it was a little more accurate. And it's a little abrasive, so I'm sorry if anybody gets uncomfortable, but I'm just going to write it anyway, because it's how I'm doing. It's called, and they say you should just keep your head down. It's the last one I'm going to read. Thank you for listening. Every morning I read an essay on fear that plucks at cables at the base of my skull. A galloping white horse practicing complete synchronization. Write a poem similar to ghosts and infinity, and do again what gives them pain. It's a matter of houses and possessions. And I'm going to go up there and hammer and bouquet. I mean, I'm going to do things, become the captain of the ship in a fit of chivalry. There is no stopping me if drunk and half blind, speaking so nice and so close, then indelicately screaming, my brigade, as stabilized as dragonflies. In the future, everything turns bone and property and hunger, and I'm gonna eat it all forever, the whole thing. I'm going to eat this whole damn mountain for the rest of my life. Thank you.